All right, good morning, gang, and welcome to a brand new work week, a brand new day. It is now day number 20 of the month. Raylene, how the hell are you?
Just wonderful. How about you?
I'm gonna be straight with you. I'm a little tired from this weekend. Just a lot of running around, going here, going there, running late to everywhere I needed to be.
No.
Well, not bad though. Just by a few minutes.
Are you shitting me?
Just a few minutes though. Not like an hour late or anything like Jerry Portress. By the way, do we even know the dollar figure that came in for Bikers for Beth?
I do not. I have not heard.
They're probably still counting it.
Probably. I checked last night. I was hoping that there would be a video of when because usually they tell the recipient right at the event.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there this year. Oh. So Travis says 17,135.
Wow.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
God, in just a couple of hours. And just over $3,000 of that was just in bottle returns alone.
Amazing.
Unreal.
We have an amazing community.
Yeah, it was a busy
Are you shocked?
weekend. Not shocked at all.
Me either.
I don't know if Travis knows how many motorcycles, but I'm guessing somewhere around 150 would be, and that's a stab in the dark here, but it was just amazing. It was just amazing. Gordon saying, "Look at these two beautiful people." Well,
I'm guessing you're not included in that.
I'll tell you who is the lady sitting right next to you, Michelle Hebert. Good morning, my love.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
It's great to see you.
You too.
We have a lot to get to this morning. A lot to chew the fat about, talk about. First of all, like we were just saying, recapping a beautiful weekend. It was a busy one. The Hot Air Balloon Festival over at Post Mills was amazing. Little windy. So they were doing morning launches, but not the afternoons.
Yeah. Aaron flew in the afternoon a couple of times. He said that this year was the best in 14 years for flying.
Yeah.
Like that he had the best time and it was the best weekend.
I think he went up Friday night, but not Saturday. We were there Saturday, and the winds were just so strong.
Too much.
Just like last year. But the morning launches were great. It was just amazing to see so many people enjoying the weather and getting out. There were motorcycle rides this weekend, not only Bikers for Beth, but also the Barb Wilkins Memorial Ride, which was tremendous. I hope that everyone was safe and that all travels went well.
Same here.
Yeah. In the news this morning, probably one of the biggest stories in Vermont, and there's a couple of big ones, but at 9:30 this morning, in about 15 minutes, Howard Dean is expected to declare his candidacy for Vermont governor. Big press conference going on in Waterbury for that. So,
Did you know Nelson sells Gorilla Glue?
no,
I bought some this morning before I sat in this chair.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've got all different kinds of Gorilla Glue over there at Nelson's. yeah, they do. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
What did you do this weekend?
Oh, actually, I went past your house.
You did?
Went over to Thompson Hill Campground.
Yeah. How was that?
Yep. Good. Spent some time there. We had a little event called the Amazing Race, and my son and I had a good time.
What's
doing that? It was like 6 events, and we ran around on a golf cart trying to complete challenges.
At Thompson Hill?
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Great.
Yeah.
Perfect weather.
Yeah, and I also showed some homes and put up a for sale sign, and so did some work too.
Do you have more than one cell phone?
No,
Just one?
just one.
It's got to be ringing all the time. Does it ring all the time?
My family does give me a hard time. I'm on my phone a lot,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I'm available for my clients 7 days a week.
Here at Aired Out, we absolutely love being connected with you guys, like-minded businesses like you who just pride yourself with being associated with the best. That's you guys. You're experts. You just won the best, brokerage company in America.
Yeah,
for
and
William
the
Rafus.
News named us #1 brokerage. That's right.
In America.
Yep.
That's huge.
It is. That's pretty amazing.
Is John listening this morning? John Biondolillo?
I don't know.
It's possible.
We need to get him in here. We had some scheduling funk, but we'd love to get him back in here at some point. And he was going to bring a broker with him. I think David.
David Jameson.
I think so.
He's our land expert.
Okay.
Yes.
What's hot right now? Is it land? Is it what's going on?
Single family residential homes
Okay.
are definitely at the top of the list.
Okay.
It's still a seller's market. So what that means is that there are more buyers than sellers.
Okay.
So in our area, I'm talking specifically even Barrie City, Barrie Town, we have a month's inventory. So what that means is that if no new homes come on the market within a month, everything that is on the market will be
Gone.
sold. Yes.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Is
So-
there? Do you feel that there's a housing crisis going on?
Well, it's supply and demand. Mm-hmm. It's supply and demand. There's not enough supply to meet the demand that we currently have.
Mm-hmm.
You got any thoughts about the new real estate that's going to be popping up in the parking lot down the road here?
30 units.
Yep.
Down Street is involved. DW, I believe, is doing the construction. So that's exciting. Going to put some new property on the market for people. So I think that's exciting. Because employers need people to be here, but we need housing for them to live in, for them to work here. So, so that's that old which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like we need we need workers, but we need housing for workers to live in.
Do we know about how many homes are available right now in this area, in the Barrie City, Barrie Town?
Let's see. Right now, and I brought some numbers with me, there were, and don't quote me, I think there were I look back and forth between Barrie City, Barrie Town.
There was
and then
6.
Total. There's not a lot. I was going to say 10. But that's on the residential side, not total, not including land, commercial. But quite a few popped up last week. Some new listings came on. I put a new listing on last week.
Yes.
On Washington Road in Williamstown. I've got.
That's a cute house.
Well, it's two houses. But I highlighted the old farmhouse, 1824. Beautiful. That's the age of the home. And then on 20 acres. And then also another studio, which is right now it's a short-term rental. So, beautiful property. And then I have a new one coming up this week, so keep an eye out. Also, Williamstown actually, so that'll be coming on hopefully Wednesday. Should be on the market. I've also got some properties currently on the market. Merchant Street, single family. I've got 2 unit on Maple Avenue. So, got multifamily properties coming on too. So we've got things. They're moving quickly.
Yeah.
Actually, days on market has gone up, so they're staying on a little bit longer than they were, but that's okay. That gives opportunity to buyers too.
So inventory super low.
Yes.
Right now between Barrie Town and Barrie City.
Yeah, most parts of the country, we're tracking trend-wise. We're tracking with national averages in terms of
Per capita?
in terms of market, what's happening in terms of
Okay.
supply and demand. So the trends are similar.
There's a very complicated and delicate dance here that's going on with the market and the Feds and what's happening and who's what and interest rates and I mean, when John was in here last, John Biondelillo from William Ravis BCK, we were talking about buying versus renting and what do you do? It's like we hear all the time. I know we all do. Can't afford an apartment anywhere. Do I buy? Do I rent? Is it cheaper to buy? What do you do? And it depends on where you are in your life and what's going on. I think.
Of course.
A little bit.
And I do hear that where people start feeling really frustrated. But there are resources out there for down payment assistance. There are resources out there. So, give me a call. We'll chat about it. There's places to call, places to apply. It's a little legwork, but it is worth the legwork. The beauty of buying is that you are going to, if you get it into a fixed rate mortgage, you're effectively fixing your cost of living, right?
Yeah.
Obviously taxes, property taxes change, but in terms of renting, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when that might change. So you have more control over your living expenses when you own your own home. And you gain equity. So the value of your property goes up as the market goes up. So that you don't get when you're renting either. So there's other things. I've talked to people about the possibility of buying a multifamily home and living in one unit.
Yes.
There's lots of talk around intergenerational living. Maybe parents and kids, take those expenses and spread them out. Have a duplex. One lives on each side.
That's what I do with my dad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we chose to do.
Yeah. So there's lots of options out there. Sometimes it just takes having a conversation and starting to think outside of the box, because the media really is like just very one-sided and just looking at things as if it's just a straight line. Like the only options are you go and you get this kind of mortgage and it's a 30-year fixed rate and that's it. And that's not true. There are so many other mortgage options out there. There's down payment assistance. So call me, tell me your situation. Let's have a conversation and try to figure out a way that it works for you.
And that's the thing, is that you will actually know, does this work for this person right now? And if it doesn't, and you can talk it out and say, if you can make this change or that change, or if you can do this for just one more year.
Yeah. And lenders are really good partners that we have to go through those things, to be able to, I'm not going to look at your financial situation, but the lender is. And you want a lender who is good at educating you and looking at all of your options, because like I said, there's more than one way to do this and go at it.
John, when he was in here last, basically in kind of a nutshell, he's so calm all the time. In a nutshell, I mean, basically what he was saying is that we as a society, in everywhere, America, we are reactive to what's coming down the pipe nationally with stories of what's going on with interest rates and what's happening to the market and so on and so forth. But there really is the law of relativity here. Supply and demand. And, you got a higher interest rate, but look at what the value of homes are going for now.
So speaking to that, I have people who will say to me, I'm going to wait and see what interest rates do. Okay, you can do that. How has that been working for you? One. Two, what will happen when interest rates do drop?
Yep.
We still don't have enough supply, and so it's basic supply and demand. So demand will rise. That will mean prices will rise. So, as John would say, and he said before, marry the house, not the rate.
Oh, yeah.
So you can always change your interest rate. I got my first mortgage 26 years ago this month. Do I have the same interest rate I did have 26 years ago? No, I do not.
Yeah.
And guess what that interest rate was 26 years ago? 7.5%.
Ah,
So, did it hurt me? Nope. Am I ahead? Yes. Do I regret buying at with a 7.5% interest rate? Absolutely not.
Right.
interesting. Look at that. But in the same breath, there really is something very wrong with everything. The big picture of this. I mean, it's like last night I saw on Facebook somebody, I think on the resident chat, the Barry VT resident chat page. I think that's where it was. People are like, does anyone have any land for me to put my camper in, and I'll trade rent for work on your property? I mean, people are desperate right now to try to find a place to live. And, homelessness is something that's really prevalent, and more people from different backgrounds, different walks of life are becoming homeless. And it's like, what do we do? What do we? I mean, I know I'm going up here 40,000 feet, but it's like, my God, there is a serious problem, and it's not just in Vermont. It's in New Hampshire. It's in New York. But holy crap, it's like, what do we have to do? What do we have to do?
Almost a year later, we're still feeling the effects of the flood here in Barre, Montpelier. I talked to a woman last week. Her brother lost his home in the flood. He's still living with her, and they're looking for housing for him. So, yeah,
this is all over the socioeconomic spectrum that people are getting affected by this.
I'm working with a couple, and they've got great jobs, and they're qualified, and we're looking at homes, and the cost of buying a home for people has changed.
The cost and what's available, it makes it tough when
right.
I think that I have heard from a few people when you've already owned and you've lost everything, it makes it tough to go into a place and feel like you're starting from zero again. It's tough to go into a home with an open mind because you're still where you were and what you lost, and that makes it, I would assume, tough for your job as well, because you're looking at all sides of that, the emotional side and the common sense side of this is what you're probably going to be doing to start over.
I think the hardest part for a lot of people is patience. It doesn't always happen immediately or overnight. It might take you some homework, might take you some legwork, and it might take some thinking outside of the box.
Yeah.
It's not always a straight line.
How is the rest of the team over at BCK, William Raveis? What do they say about all of this? How do they feel about everything that we're talking about today?
Well, we're all having regular conversations together. We have meetings and we talk to each other about what's going on in the market, what we see and what challenges we have, and how do we help our clients meet those challenges. So we have a great group. We've just really caring people. We all want to help our clients meet their goals, whatever those are, whether it's selling downsizing, upsizing. I mean, life, we just try to help people with their changes in their lives.
And the constant changes in the market and legally and with new laws
Right, and
and new regulations. And
yes, and staying educated so that we can educate our clients.
all kinds of changes happening, right?
Yeah,
Soon.
I mean, things change all the time, and we learn how to adapt and adjust so that we can help our clients do the same.
Are there new regulations statewide that are affecting real estate? I know it's a broad question, but
Yeah. Well, nationally, we are realtors. So the National Association of Realtors, there's been a lot in the headlines about that. So there's going to be some changes. August 17th now, I believe, is the date of those changes that they will happen. And you know what? To the consumer, it's pretty simple. So let's say Raylene comes to me and she says, Michelle, I want to sell my home. Okay. And it's August 17th. And I said, okay, let's sit down and write up a contract and you want to sell your home. So first of all, let me say the talk is about commissions and how we get compensated as realtors. And so I say to Raylene, great. Here's how I get compensated. I get compensated when you sell your home. And here's what my fee is for doing that. Great. Easy, right? The next part of our conversation will be, what would you like to provide or contribute to the compensation of a buyer's agent? And then we talk about that. And
buyer representation.
For buyer representation. And we have that conversation and we decide together what that will be. That's our contract. So always in the past, people have just been used to, here's the fee, here's how much I'm going to contribute to the buyer's agent. And so the conversation's a little bit different, but really,
Yeah.
you know, it's always been there. I think that what happened was agents were not doing a good job of explaining how we get compensated. Okay, so now JD's my buyer, and I say to JD says to me, I'd like you to represent me in buying a piece of property. So that'll mean that he and I have a contract together. So easy, right? So we come together and I say, okay, here is my fee for me representing you. And so we talk about that and decide on what that will be. And so then when we go to look at properties, what will happen is that I will reach out to whatever property we're looking at and say, what are you willing to contribute to the compensation of a buyer's agent? So we will know that answer before we go in the door. Right? So then one of three things will happen. Either they're offering enough to cover my fee.
Yep.
If they're not offering quite enough to cover my fee, then I'll negotiate for that difference. Or they're not offering anything. And again, then we will negotiate. So every situation is different. But it's all about buyer and seller representation. Each have a contract with their agent.
Yeah. And there's huge benefits to this.
Absolutely.
Huge benefits. Yes, absolutely. Because what that means is when you are representing your client, it really talks about who your responsibility is to and keeping confidentiality. So those are the
Sure.
So there's actually a whole adage to it, but that's the simple way to put it.
Well, and the knowledge alone is worth the fee, I think, to have that security of knowing I'm going to be signing all of these things and I'm going to be going through inspections and appraisals and all of these things. But that's okay because my realtor is going to take care of those things, or my agent is going to take care of those things and is going to explain all those things to me, and it's going to be okay. Right. It's stressful. It's very stressful. When
people make investments for their retirement, the big things in their lives, you usually have somebody representing you that's you are paying a fee, and they're helping you. They're helping you understand. You know, you go to a doctor, you go to a lawyer, you go to, there's those people are professionals that are helping you understand these big choices that you're making in your life.
Right.
And that's what we do.
Just got a question from Dave here saying, if I only want to compensate my seller agent 3%, and they are not going to split the commission with the buyer's agent, doesn't that pretty much eliminate the buyer's agent from wanting to sell my home?
So, and every situation is going to be different, right? So, okay, so we're saying what, Dave, I'm your seller's agent, and you and I have negotiated that the fee to me is 3%. And then, so the next piece that you asked about is, that's the next conversation we'll have is, what are you willing to contribute to the buyer's agent? So it's two separate pieces. So you get my fee and you get the buyer's agency fee if you want to contribute to that. What do you want that to look like? So here's a good example. Let's say JD and Raylene are both selling their homes. They're right next to each other.
Oh my God, we kill each other.
And they look exactly the same. They're same size house, same number of bedrooms. Okay.
Yep.
So JD has decided that he's willing to contribute towards the buyer's agent, and Raylene said she doesn't want to. Now we're going to know those things before we go show your house.
Yeah.
What happens? I feel like effectively what will happen is Raylene has just limited her buyer pool.
Interesting.
And JD has opened his buyer pool, right? So what will happen? Will JD get more offers? And will he actually end up with a bidding war and bid his house up, and Raylene's house may not be shown? Now, I'm not saying that that's what will happen, but we're just looking at what's the current market happening and supply and demand. So at the end of the day, it's up to the seller, and it's between them and their agent and what they want to do. It's always a negotiation.
I want to ask you about assessment versus appraisal this morning. But I also want to just touch on how important it is. This is something that every time we speak with you, you hammer this, but so does John too. And that's being pre-approved, not putting the cart before the horse. Where do things begin? Someone, if they're not sure, should they be renting? Should they buy? What do they do?
Yeah. So when I sit down,
they come through the doors at BCK, William Raveys. What do we do?
So first, we're going to talk about representation. And in the state of Vermont, that's what we have to do. Actually, is the first thing you do is we talk about. You need to know, what we're talking about, and if you want to be represented. And then during my buyer representation, then we start talking about, okay, where are you at right now in your process, and what are the steps, how to begin, where are we going, and I talk about what it looks like and make sure that my buyers are prepared. I want my buyers to have the best chance and opportunity when we start looking at homes. So pre-approval, very important. Let's talk about lenders, who you're talking to, who you might want to talk to based on your situation, because banks, different lenders they don't all offer the same programs. One mortgage doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
So it's good to start having those conversations immediately.
Yeah. You could be dealing with someone who's a first-time buyer.
Exactly. And I love working with first-time buyers. It's so exciting. It's so exciting to work with them and help them with that transition in their life. It's so exciting. And if they have kids, it's always fun, because they'll walk every house we walk into. they're always picking
choosing their
bedroom.
rooms.
Oh yeah.
It's so fun.
This is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always a celebration. It's great.
But get things checked out. You know, everyone has a different credit score. Everyone has a
Yes.
different story,
Yes.
a different situation, a different history.
Yeah. But not having that pre-approval
Yeah.
in your hand puts you behind the 8 ball. Because if we go look at a home and
You're wasting
all of
your
a sudden,
time.
and I'm going to tell you this happens more often than I'd like, because I want buyers to be able. It's such a big decision. I want you to be able to stop and think for a minute, and so that's why I want to have you fully prepared before we walk in the door. I want you to have that pre-approval ready. I want you to understand the paperwork. I want you to know what's going to happen, so that when that comes and they say, okay, we've got to have offers in tomorrow, you're ready to go. And if you're not ready to go, there's not enough time. Well, I can't have my offer. I can have my offer in tomorrow, but I'm not going to have that pre-approval. Well, I don't want your offer to be at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
I want to be able to come in with the best offer possible that you can give, because if that's the home, I want to help you get there.
What about assessment versus appraisal? What the hell's that all about? What's the difference between the two?
Okay. So assessment is the value that a town or city places on your property, and they use their tax rate in order to calculate what your property taxes are. Assessment is not always up to market. It's typically not up to market. Market's what's happening today in the market, and that fluctuates. So, like for example, in Berry City, we haven't had a reappraisal of the properties in the city for a very long time. So those assessed values are based on when they did their last reappraisal. So it's really tied to taxes, property taxes, as opposed to the market.
Should we ask her about property taxes and how she feels about all that, Raylene? Should we go down that road?
How do I feel about it? I feel it's...
Nobody likes property taxes.
No, but it has to happen, right?
yeah, right.
You know, I mean, it's something that we two things that are inevitable in life: death and taxes, right?
Right.
So,
That's right.
we can't escape it, you know. So, you know, it's a tough one, and especially
Double
especially
digits,
for
Michelle.
especially for the city of Barrie, and we've lost a lot of homes. And what's this going to look like? It's not going to be. It's a hard pill for all of us to swallow. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
What can I say? I can't tell you how to fix it. I wouldn't even try.
Some people are saying it's the perfect storm. Not to be a negative Nelly here on a Monday morning, but
But you know what? I think the thing that we have learned about this community is resilient. This community comes together and we work together to try to solve problems. People want to be here.
yeah,
They want to be here.
yeah.
And how do we do that? How do we come up with solutions that work? Because we want to live in this community. We love this community.
Will you at some point have a conversation with our new mayor, Tom Lozon?
I'm sure I'll run into Tom at some point.
Right. Because he'll be out and about in the community.
Yeah, well, he is anyway.
Right.
He is anyway.
Prospect Heights. Will you have any? Do you know anything about this?
I just have heard some of the things that are in the works. I am on the Barrie Housing Task Force committee. Great group of people. Such amazing, smart minds, and it's a really good cross section of people, so that we're all collaborating, and really, it takes out of the box thinking right now. Just like, you know, for people who are trying to get into homes. I mean, it all comes down to the same thing, and so we need to continue to have those conversations, think outside of the box. How can we make this work? Because we all want to make it work.
Yeah.
We can complain, we can say we don't like it, but really what we need to do is think about how we can make it work. Okay, things shift, rules change. Well, we shift with them. We need to shift with them. You change with it or you die with it.
Yeah.
Right. Which is tough some days, but that's what
really
we need to do.
People want things to stay the same. It's more comfortable. It really is. So how do we make this work? No one has all the answers, but collaborating and talking about solutions is how we get there.
We have another question. If you were thinking about selling your home, do you do free appraisals for people? Do you sit with people and tell them what you think their house is valued at and they should list it for?
Yeah.
That's a question.
So you know what the value of your house is.
Yes, market analysis is what we do. So appraisal is different. Appraisers do appraisals. I do what's called a market analysis. They are similar, but different. So, but absolutely, it doesn't cost anything for us to have a conversation. So reach out to me. I'm available through email, text, phone, however you're most comfortable reaching out. I also have a Facebook page just for real estate. You can reach out through Messenger as well and have a conversation about your home and your specific goals.
What do you really need for a down payment when buying a home?
Depends on the mortgage that you're approved for. It really comes down to your financial situation and what you're approved for. And that's why it's important to go get pre-approved first so that I can help match you to the right home as well. Because not all mortgages fit for each house. So it could range from 0 to 25%. It really depends. It depends on the person and the home and your financial situation. So that's why it's important to have the conversations individually. So you could, VA loan, 0% down. There could be USDA loan, 0% down. There's conventional loans that are only 3% down. I mean, I'm throwing out words here that are probably like, what does that even mean? And so that's why we sit down and we have these conversations.
Right.
So that I can help point you in the right direction and educate you about what's best for you.
Raylene, do you have any questions?
I'm good.
What's the skinny on the purchase and sales contract?
Do I have to? No, you do that first. You do that first.
What's the deal on the purchase and sales contract? What is that all about?
Purchase and sale contract is an offer to make a purchase to a seller. And once the seller agrees and everyone, the buyer and seller, have both signed that purchase and sale contract, that starts the process of the actual purchase. So the purchase and sale contract lays out how all the terms of the transaction.
What about a closing disclosure?
That happens at the end, just before the closing, and that lays out all the costs, all the money that is being brought to the table or given. So it'll lay out for a buyer, here's all the money you need to bring to the table, or who's bringing the money to the table, and for the seller, how much your check is going to be. Yeah, how much your check is going to be. I've been at closings where the seller has had to bring money to the closing.
Really?
It is possible, yes. Yeah, it's rare, but it happens.
This can be, is one of the top, if not the top, most stressful event in most lives.
Moving is stressful. Just moving is stressful.
Or buying and selling.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
forget about the move.
Well, it is, but that's the piece. You're moving your entire life.
Right.
That's where you go to every day and you lay your head. That's huge.
Yeah.
People say to me, I'm sorry, I've brought you to, we're looking at so many places. This is a big decision. This is your life.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is your life.
And when you're leaving, when you're downsizing, when you're thinking about my whole life is here, and how am I going to transition from this spot?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Sometimes I don't have a psychology degree. I probably should have gotten one.
Oh.
Yeah.
We talk a lot, but I feel honored when people choose me to represent them because I am part of that transition in their life.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
You've seen the full circle.
It's huge. I've helped people
Yeah.
sell their home to move into a camper. I'm working on another one right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I've done it before. I've seen people, but go the other direction where I've sold them a home and now I'm selling them their next home because they need a bigger home because their family grew. So being part of those transitions in their lives, it's an honor. I take that to heart, and it's important that I give everything that I can to that. And that's why I'm available 7 days a week. I mean, all of a sudden what's important to them is important to me. And they need an answer to something because they're worried about something. And it could be as simple as, do I need to move this thing? I'm getting the house completely cleaned out and it's just before the final walkthrough. And let me do a final walkthrough with you before that. Let's make sure that everything's okay. I mean, we walk through I'm with you every step of the process.
Linda just wrote, when selling our childhood home, I sat at the signing thinking about how happy my parents were when they purchased it and how sad I felt selling it. I mean, this is an absolute freaking roller coaster.
It's a huge emotional event for most people. I mean, I've stood there. The first building I purchased, I still own. And it was a 3-unit apartment building, and I lived in 1 unit. And even though I still own it and I moved out of it and I rented it to someone else, I shed a few tears before I walked out that door. I brought all my babies home there.
Yeah, right.
These are the moments in our
where
lives.
you started. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a big deal being invited into these intimate pieces of people's lives.
And you're also excited about what's on the horizon and what's coming up, what you're going to do differently. And there's that positive and
I just helped someone sell their family home. We're three siblings, and they just sold their family home, and each one of them had their own feelings about that.
Right.
Right.
And then in all of this, and then you've just been sitting at a table, signing your signature 4,000 times. I mean, agreeing to this and that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on here. This is like financial, emotional, everything. And then you throw some kids in the mix; they're uprooting. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've listened to people laugh, cry, yell.
Oh yeah.
We've been through it all, and
You've
you know
seen
what?
Some good battles.
Oh yeah.
Some good
and
fights.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've. Oh yeah.
You think you see things out the aired out window. You haven't seen nothing.
People that are split, swearing. Sure. Yeah. I've seen it all. But
wow.
You know what? I'm just here to help you get through it. We talk through it. These are normal things that people are going through, and I'm just here to help guide you from one end
and
to
she
the
does
other.
a really good job. So that's how I'm not asking a question. I'm just telling you that.
Oh, you don't even know. I have stood in a house. Here, I'll tell you one. I have stood in the house. The people were selling the house. They had split up. Okay? And now they need to sell the house. I'm taking photos. And in the midst of taking the photos, they were taking digs at each other. It was some interesting.
It was intense.
It was interesting. I just kept going. I took the photos I needed to. The new boyfriend was sitting in the living room. I'm like, do you want to be in the photo? He's like, no, I'll move. I mean, it's never a dull moment.
Yeah. Thankfully, my ex-husband and I get along.
Yes.
And we're friends. And I actually recommended that he call Michelle when he was going to list his home.
Yeah.
I knew that, one, it was going to be difficult for him, and I knew for sure that he's difficult.
Yeah.
And so,
He's not that
but
difficult.
he can be. I know. You can't say
along
that.
just fine.
Well, that was the thing, is that I knew you would get along. Like, I knew that he would be okay with you and you would be okay with him. Like, because I knew how you would approach things. I knew your mannerism. I knew that, you weren't going to be someone that he would think was looking down your nose at him or the situation or his home or any of that. I just knew that it would be a very down-to-earth, good communication.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to work. And
Thank you.
and numerous times he has said, thank God for Michelle. Or, I was kind of an asshole today, but
Kind of.
but he has never stopped saying, thank you so much for recommending her, because this has been the best experience ever.
Well,
So,
And this is
And
not
just so
someone
that you
who's
know.
this is not someone who's walking around with compliment cards handing them out left and right either.
No. I mean,
I'm just saying.
It that's true. I mean, it has to be for him to feel that way. It's definitely significant. And
I will say I'm my toughest critic. I want my clients to be happy. And I also understand in this process, because it is emotional, there's a lot going on, there are a lot of moving pieces. When people get upset, it's not usually about me. Mm-hmm. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to get you from start to finish. I'm here to get you through the process. That's my job. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'm the sounding board, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. I wanted to just ask you just briefly about commercial properties and Efficiency Vermont, and for commercial owners that may have purchased some property from you, or they're thinking about buying something or selling something, just making sure that commercial real estate is running efficiently, that it's dialed in, it's top notch, and that you are either making or keeping a good investment. That's something that you guys really cater to. And I know that commercial real estate is not exploding right now. I realize that. But that's something that you guys are really known for.
Well, in every community, things are different, and every commercial property is different. It really depends on what its highest and best use is.
Right.
There's so many ways to unpack that. So I would say, call us, have a conversation, whether you're selling or buying. And also, there's some really good commercial lending resources right here in our community.
Some great rebates too.
So we can point you in the right direction for, resource wise, who you should reach out to based on whatever your goal is or your project is.
Yeah. But you guys know how to do the whole audit thing and all that. It's complicated, but you're dialed into that.
Again, it depends on what it
Depends
what it is. It
Sure.
could be
Sure.
it could be multifamily commercial. If you get to over 4 units, 5 units and up, that becomes commercial.
Yeah.
As far as lending goes, and that commercial is a whole nother beast. It's different than residential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom line, get in touch with you. Reach out.
Yeah.
With any questions, even the dumbest of
The
questions.
simplest.
Simplest. If you're just kind of scratching your head trying to figure out what to do, you got to make a move. You're not sure. Maybe mom or dad's got to move in. Maybe mom or dad's got to move out. The kids, look at what's happening nationally. We got more kids who are graduating from college. They're well in their 20s, and they're still staying at home.
20s.
Well, All right, 30s. 30s. You know, it's different now. It's different.
So maybe that's where that accessory dwelling unit comes in. And there's grant money for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Telling you, there's lots of resources out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I remember, I don't know how old I was, early 20s, when my father was like, that's it. You're out.
Pack your shit and get out.
You're not going to talk to your mother like that. Go find somewhere else to live. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't seem.
Yeah.
Of course, that's still happening
Yeah.
these days. But it's not happening, I think, as much. I mean, it's just a different world, man.
I mean, you could end up in a van down by the river.
Exactly. Exactly.
So talk nicely to your mother.
Right?
Right. That's right. That's the moral of the story. Be good to
Exactly.
your mother.
Yeah, I'm talking to my son. No.
Yeah. Me too.
God. Your email, michelle.hebert@ravies.com.
Yes.
We'll post that up right here in the comments. And if anyone has any questions for you, stop in 86 North Main Street, right next to the Subway, or just give you a call.
Yeah. You reach out to me. Like I said, text, email,
Cell
Phone.
phone?
messenger.
Can we post up the cell phone number?
Yep. My cell phone's right on my.
Right, it's on her
right,
card.
right on the website. My
making
business card.
sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
249-0921. And if anyone has any questions, they can reach you or John or anyone over there
Yes. We have a great team.
and ask away. You guys, congratulations on all of the kudos that you've received on the national spectrum. Is amazing. The awards that you guys have won for being the top brokerage in America, William Ravies. That's unbelievable.
It's pretty awesome.
And you're not right here just in Berry City. You've got other
No, we're up and
offices.
down the East Coast. Yep.
And here in New England.
Yes.
There's still a strong presence over in the state of Maine.
Yes. Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. Our corporate office is in, we're an affiliate of William Ravis, but that's in Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York. And we're just expanded into the Carolinas, down in Florida.
Yeah. I love the fact that you guys are so approachable. You're friendly. You're calm. You're not reactive when someone comes in there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I was listening to the podcast. And you just calm them down and say, let's begin at the beginning. Deep breath.
That's
and
right.
I love that about you. I love that about you. Well, all of you. You and John.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for being a sponsor. You know, I love talking with you about this kind of stuff because you break it down in terms that even I can understand.
Well,
right,
the terms I
Raylene?
can understand. Try not to complicate it. My husband says I do complicate things sometimes.
No way.
Try not to.
No way.
Don't ask him.
We've got some warm weather that is coming this week. We're watching it carefully. We've got it's going to be downright hot. All of a sudden, we are dropping the clutch and
Today and tomorrow.
shifting right into summertime.
Yeah.
So we're watching that, the heat index and all this stuff. And, of course, we're paying attention to what's happening here in Vermont with news and community happenings in and around central Vermont. We've got a lot of activity on the Facebook page. Thank you, Raylene, for that. Thank you, Michelle, for coming in here this
Thank you.
morning. We appreciate you. Thank you again.
I always enjoy seeing you guys.
Have a great day, everyone. Catch you again soon.